Nikisema we, unasema wa, sio? Tunajua hiyo? Aya, kama tunajua acha tufanye nyingine. Nikisema kaboom, tunasema kaching. Kaboom. Kaboom. Nikisema kaching, unasema kaboom. Kaching. Kaboom, kaboom. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning this afternoon. My name is Hassan Hamza. I am a team building coach and a speaker. And what I do mostly with our team building is something called winning with people. Well, on my way here, nilikuwa nikipitia hii kitabu nimeisoma before, and I came across something kanikumbusha something very important. I noted it down. Kasema I'll read this for you. Inasema the most useful person in the world today is the man or the woman who knows how to get along with other people. Human relations is the most important science in living. There's a guy called Charles Schwab. Many years ago, early 1900s, he was the CEO or the manager of the United States Steel Company. And he was paid $1 million for being the manager. And he was paid $12 million for his people skills. So I know you are teachers. And one of the most important, I'm honored, my team and I were honored to be here with there's a university in Kenya. There's one university ambayo inaitwa Which one? The University of Nairobi. And when I'm asked, I would like to say there's one school that inafai kuwepo na the. Inafai kuwe the Sheikh Khalifa. The Sheikh Khalifa inafai kuwe ni shule. Wewe hujui Sheikh Khalifa aje, sio? So I'm honored to be here with you because as teachers, as I was coming with our principal, Sheikh Rishad, talking kwa bus, I was asking him questions about how he started teaching. And every one of us, I'm sure I love to ask people questions. I'm a journalist by profession. So I wish ningekuwa na time niweze kuwauliza nyinyi wote, what made you a teacher? What drives you? I heard our good counselors talking about when you wake up in the morning, do you love what you do? How many lives have you changed? Some that you know and some that you don't know. So in the interest of time, a few minutes, just to borrow you a few minutes, there's a story that I love so much. And I'd like to share with you this story. It's called the Teddy story. It's about how a teacher can inspire someone, how a teacher can change someone's life. But the teacher should be aware, should be conscious, should wake up in the morning knowing what I'm going to do. But it's not only about the money. So this is called the Teddy story. There's a story from many years ago that tells of an elementary teacher whose name was Mrs. Thompson. As she stood in front of her 5th grade class on the first day of school, she told the children a lie. What was the lie? Like most teachers, she looked at all the students and told them that she loved them all the same. I want to read that part again. I want to read that again in case there's someone who didn't get that. As she stood in front of her 5th grade class on the first day of school, she told her children a lie, like most teachers do. What was the lie? She said she loved them all the same, but that was simply not true. Because there, in front row, slumped in his seat, was a little boy named Teddy Stoddard. Miss Thompson had watched Teddy the year before and noticed that he didn't play well with the other children. His clothes were messy and he constantly needed a bath. Teddy could be unpleasant at times. It got to the point where Miss Thompson will take delight in marking his papers with a broad red pen, bold X, and finally putting a big F on top of the papers. At the school where Miss Thompson taught, she was required to review each child's past records. She put Teddy's off until last. When she finally reviewed his file, she was in for a surprise. Teddy's first grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is a bright child with a ready laugh. He does his work neatly and has good manners. He's a joy to be around." His second grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is an excellent student and well liked by his classmates. But he's troubled because his mother has a terminal illness and life at home must be a struggle." His third grade teacher wrote, "His mother's death has been hard on him. He tries to do his best, but his father doesn't show much interest. His home life well soon will affect him if steps aren't taken." Teddy's fourth grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is withdrawn and doesn't show much interest in school. He doesn't have many friends and sometimes he even sleeps in class." By now, Miss Thompson realized the problem and she was ashamed of herself. She felt even worse when our students brought, this is Christmas, it's a Christian story, so brought her Christmas present, wrapped in beautiful ribbons and bright paper, except for Teddy. His present was a clumsily wrapped in heavy brown paper that he got from a grocery bag. Miss Thompson took pains to open it in the middle of the other presents. Some of the children started to laugh when she found a rhinestone bracelet with some of the stones missing and a bottle that was 1/4 full of perfume. But she shifted the children's laughter when she explained how pretty the bracelet was. While putting it on, some of the perfume on her wrist, Teddy stayed after school that day just long enough to say, "Miss Thompson, today you smell just like my mom used to." After the children left, she cried for at least an hour. On this very day, she quit teaching, reading, writing, arithmetic, and instead, she began teaching children. Miss Thompson began to pay close attention to Teddy as she worked with him. As time went on, his mind seemed to come alive. The more she encouraged him, the faster he responded. By the end of the year, Teddy had become one of the smartest children in the class. Despite her lie, he had become one of our teacher's pets. A year later, she found a note under the door from Teddy telling her that she was the best teacher he had ever had in his whole life. 6 years passed by, and to her surprise, another note came from Teddy. He wrote that he had finished high school, third in his class, and that she was still the best teacher that he had ever had in his whole life. 4 years later, another letter came saying that while things had been tough at times, he stayed in school and stuck with it, and that he had graduated from college with the highest of honors. He assured Miss Thompson that she was still the very best and favorite teacher he had ever had in his whole life. 4 more years passed by, and yet another letter came. This time, he explained that after he got his bachelor's degree, he had decided to go a little further again, assuring her that she was still her favorite teacher. And he ever had. The letter was signed Theodore Stoddard, MD. The story doesn't end there. There was one final letter that spring. Teddy said that he had met this girl and that he was going to be married. He explained that his father had died a couple of years ago, and he was wondering if Miss Thompson might agree to sit in the place at his wedding. That was usually reserved for the mother of the groom. Of course, Miss Thompson did. She wore the bracelet with the several rhinestones missing. She also made sure she was wearing the perfume that Teddy remembered his mother wearing on the last day. After the wedding, they hugged each other as Dr. Teddy Stoddard whispered in Miss Thompson here, "Thank you so much for making me feel important and showing me that I could make a difference." Miss Thompson, with tears in her eyes, whispered back, "Teddy, you have it all wrong. You are the one who taught me that I could make a difference. I didn't know how to teach until I met you."
That's right.